I was playing with some friends over at my place locally, and I have this friend who's a Marth player, and I think I mentioned this last time. I kept on losing, and it felt like I couldn't get any of the usual Falco combos on him for whatever reason. And he was catching me, he was two framing me a lot with tipper F smash, so I died at like 40 every single time, and then eventually it just started to get really tilted. I think generally speaking, going into a game or getting tilted at all is kind of bad. That I was kind of wondering if there's any sort of advice that you might have to help prevent tilt.
So before we get into the tilt, I'm trying to think the way I want to go over this, I guess, as far as it's going to be not necessarily a how to deal with tilt thing, because there are some, like, I guess, exterior things you could talk about as far as saying, okay, if I'm playing against someone who's playing ultra cheesy, or the character hard counters mine, or they're using a gimmick and whatever it is, and how do I not get mad at that? It's like, okay, you can take a step back from the game and be like, it's literally just a game, and I'm trying to learn. There's that part of it, which you could say, which is almost like the too conservative / wholesome way to look at it, because it doesn't actually make you better, it just makes you not mad, right? So we want to talk about how to get better as well, as far as how to beat Marth, or not necessarily Marth, but sword characters in general. So I'm going to play some Marth, and what I want to talk about here is I want to talk about the idea of having your hits matter as much as possible.
Okay.
So what I mean by having your hits matter as much as possible is when you actually hit me with something, you should know exactly where your hitboxes are going to send me, and also have intent behind your hits, right? So if you're going to hit me with like an up tilt or a nair or a dash attack or a forward tilt or whatever you happen to hit me with, literally ask yourself, maybe not in the moment, but if you were to practice the situation or have a game plan, ask yourself, why am I doing this at all? Are you trying to get a tech chase situation? Are you trying to get me off stage? Are you trying to get a juggle situation? Are you going for a kill confirm? Are you trying to get me off of you? Are you trying to get space? Are you trying to get out of the corner? Like, why are you throwing out what you're throwing out? That's going to be number one. Number two is making your percent matter as much as possible. So if you get a small lead on a character like Marth, for example, yes, he can kill you early with tipper hits. However, I don't have a projectile or a reflector. So if you have a small lead, even if that lead is 30%, I can't do anything to just shoot back, for example, or reflect. So if you start to play in a way where, yes, it's very slow and it's not the most fun thing in the world, but if I have to chase you and jump in on you, all of a sudden the game opens wide open for you, I should say, right? So if I'm running in, let's say, landing on your shield, or like coming in going for down tilt or forward tilting, or landing backwards, like trying to come down with like a back air and stuff like that, and hitting your shield, and you're punishing me out of the shield with, let's say, just nair. If you're just nairing me and let's say hit me towards center stage, pay attention to what I do after I get hit. If it's not going to be a true combo out of your nair, what do? Do I immediately up B because I think you're going to jump at me with something? Do I come down with a nair or a fair? Do I just jump away? Do I air dodge away? Do I throw out my counter? What do I do to try and get away from you? Or do I happen to, let's say, get hit by your nair and I hold towards you and try and fair you because I just don't care? If that's my game plan or my mentality while fighting you. So when I say make your hits matter as much as possible, if you hit me with just a nair and you see that I'm playing very aggressively because I'm trying to kill you, you can still take advantage of that, even if it's not going to be a true combo, right? So let's say you hit me with nair and I come back towards you with a fair. If you shield that, it could be a grab, or it could be an up smash even as well. And then off of that, it's like, okay, if I get a grab, I'm going to throw him off stage, go for an edge guard or ledge trap, or throw him up for a combo, or go for an up smash, try and kill him off the top, or get a juggle situation, right?
Right.
So when you're fighting, also take into consideration the time, of course. So if you're up by, let's say, probably more than 3%, but if you have a sizable or a moderate lead, you don't have to do anything. And from the perspective of trying to win, that's all you have to do, is make sure that you win, even if it's in the corniest or lamest or slowest way possible. If that's what you have to do, because you can't just go in there and style on your opponent, then unfortunately that's just what you have to do. Actually, you know what? This reminds me really quickly. We'll play right after this, but there's a set. It is Tweak versus Ven. I think he plays Zelda. This is an old set. If it's the one I think it is, I think this is it. Tweak wins the set, but you have to see, and I'm gonna put it in the chat as well so other people can see. He plays this so ridiculously slow as Tweak playing Wario. This is like pre-patch Wario too, so he was just cracked.
Right.
And it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you're Tweak playing Wario and you have the combo game of an actual god. It's the fact that if you play fast or play the way that you want to against someone whose character can directly counter you for playing in a mashy way or too aggressive, then you're going to lose. You have to play the way that they are designed to make you play. Right? So same thing with Marth. If you jump on my shield, let's go like this the entire game. It's frame 5, right? You have nothing safe enough to get away from this. Of course, you can space around it, or you can try and like tomahawk, let's say empty hop into shield, and bait me into it. But if you're actually landing on me with like fair, nair, down air, dash attack, side B, let's go like this, eventually this will also kill you. Right? So don't lose because you lose to this, for example.
Yeah.
Right? Take your time, play slow, and if you have a lead, then use that lead. Use it to influence me to try and get in on you versus saying I'm winning by 60, but I just want to go for a kill, so I'm going to just run in and do what I want to. And here's the thing is I don't care if you win. I don't care if you time me out. I more so care about just playing it properly, right? Because let's say if you were to play against someone who is a top level Marth player, and let's say it's an opportunity to try and put a good word in for your record and a good word in for like your reputation as a player, to say I took a set off of Mr. E, for example, right? Or took a set off of Stretch. If you get a chance to fight someone like that, are you going to play them fast to say I styled on Mr. E, or are you going to say I have a 1-0 record on Mr. E, right?
The latter.
Of course, right? Of course, you want to try and say I won. I straight up won. I don't care how I did it. It's the fact that he lost. That's what's important, right? So if you play your sets like that, all of a sudden the factor of being tilted or having fun doesn't really matter, right? It's I want that 1-0. At the jump. So right there.
Yeah.
I kind of want to switch into Falco for a second, just to show you something. Actually, you could probably just do it. It's not that hard, but realistically, if you are off stage like that, if you happen to jump like you just did, you're not going to snap to ledge, right?
Yeah.
So even if I didn't go for that spike, the spike was much fancier than it had to be. I could have also just F smashed, and you would have came past the ledge if you did that, right?
Yeah.
So what you could have also done is put yourself under the stage and like bonked your head off the roof or the bottom of the stage, and then up bead up on an angle and dragged along the edge of the stage and grabbed ledge, right? It's way harder to get a 2-frame than it is to like catch someone, obviously, if you just jump past the ledge, right?
Basically like this.
Do it again. Yeah, something like that. Or even you can go even like further under the stage than that. You can make it from pretty far underneath. Yeah, like even there, right? It's pretty wild. So if you know that, like if you go underneath there, like let's say if someone's chasing you off stage super aggressive, just jump under the stage and up be like that. Because if they hit you, they'll have to hit you up into the stage, in which case you can probably tech and be put exactly right where you are, and you'll have the chance to up B again, right from the same spot. It's a very seldom used mix-up to get away from that situation, but like if you ever have to do this, like that situation where I just came past a ledge, that's you're just asking to get F smashed, or like run off back air, like that spike that I went for. Like the spike I went for was not, it was good because I got the spike hitbox, but it wasn't amazing because you didn't grab the ledge, right?
Right.
So had you went underneath, let's say if you did that up B and I went like this, I would have completely missed, and I'd have to go like this. You would have grabbed the ledge before me, in which case you probably could have spiked me, right? Or you could have just gone right here and go for a ledge trap.
But I think also just as a different scenario, if I didn't panic jump, then I think I would have been fine as well.
Yeah, you could have also just delayed your jump as well, of course. Yeah, that would also work too, especially since for me, I did go immediately off like this, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of called out the panic a little bit, but if you just did jump, there's also a chance that, actually, I think I had 2 stocks. Not guaranteed that I would have done this, but let's just say in the future, if I see, he's recovering low, I could have fast fell first and then spiked and still caught you low. And even though, let's say if I happened to catch your jump, but I didn't get the spike, you would have been way, way out here, or you would have got a weird hitbox that sent you onto the stage, in which case you would have to tech it. It's not impossible, but it's also just another thing to be aware of, right? It's not like it would have probably worked, but it's not like a guarantee that if you go low, then you're just not going to get hit at all. So here's the thing too, is like if we're playing in this manner and we're practicing playing this slow or playing this safely, did the last game feel excruciating for you? Like,
yeah, once you got the lead, I didn't know how to get in.
Okay. Did it feel excruciating as far as being camped?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So how were you feeling emotionally then? Were you feeling like annoyed, tilted, like?
Not quite yet. Like I generally don't get that way. It was just kind of what happened earlier this week was mostly just a sequence of events.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up kind of going that way. I was always kind of trailing behind, so I had to get my way in. I was getting impatient because I couldn't find a way in, and then when I did get a way in, I got like 0 confirms. So and it's probably because I was tilted that I wasn't able to input a lot of things properly / not see the combo tree as well as I normally can, and that is a mental weakness of mine that I know of.
Okay, so I would say as far as trying to get in, if you find like you're having trouble getting in because you're going for, let's say, landing nair or landing fair, one thing you could be doing is overshooting with your dash attack. And I feel like this is like the forbidden move for Falco because no one ever uses dash attack. But the thing about dash attack that makes it different from side B as well is that it actually does cross up shields, right? True. So if I land right in front of you and I shield, and say I do like landing fair and I shield and you do a dash attack, you can get behind me. You have to be basically point blank when you do it, but it is possible to cross up. If you space it and get like a weak hit dash attack, then yeah, you're going to be in trouble. But if I'm doing like, let's say, run up, down tilt, dash away, you can also stuff that out with a dash attack as well, right? Okay. I find that that's one of Falco's biggest weaknesses is trying to stuff out someone for overextend, or I guess baiting you into overextending, if that makes sense. Like if you actually go for the overextension as Falco, more often than not, it doesn't work out. So a lot of players just don't do it. But in some cases, if I am doing like, let's say, something like this into dash away, or like down tilt dash away, as I'm dashing away, you can just dash with me and go for side B, or I mean dash attack, right? And that's what I mean even more about making your hits matter. If you get a dash attack, it doesn't combo into anything, but it can give you a juggle situation if you get the strong hit up here, or a ledge trap situation if you get the weak hit off stage, right? Then you have to rely on your ledge trapping or edge guarding or juggling, depending on what you get, and then you can turn it into more. If I start to get scared, let's say I come down with like an aggressive attack and I shield, or I air dodge, that should be turning into more. Either down tilt, another dash attack, a side B, or a grab, or run up tilt, depending on where I land. There's no jump.
I thought it.
That's one thing I will say in this matchup. If that shit happens to you, there's nothing you can do. Like, you're just dead. It sucks. Like, you could continuously up B over and over again, but as I went for my up B, if you didn't air dodge, my up B would have hit you, in which case you would have to tech it, and then you would have to up B again anyways, right? So, like, you're kind of screwed. That's why I don't advise going off stage against Marth or Lucina very often, just because something stupid like that can happen. Careful right there too. You don't want to try and land on me. If you hit me, then sure, but also you don't want to make a living of trying to land on the sword character. And it wouldn't really matter who I am, right? On this. Even if I'm playing hero, right? If you try and land on hero up tilt, you're gonna die.
Up tilt is massive.
Oh yeah, but there's more so the idea that he's not nearly as known for his sword moves. If that makes sense, right? It's not like like his up tilt it's a strong arcing move, but it's not like it doesn't hit nearly as wide and as huge as Cloud up tilt or Lucina Marth up tilt, right? Or even like Roy or Chrom. But either way, it's like if you land on a sword character, just know that your hitbox is not built the same as mine, so you're gonna lose, right? Oh, you had me. So pulling the trigger on rising aerials a little bit sooner, I would say too, because it's been quite a few times we've done turned around with like a back air, and you've gone for them late. Sometimes they've canceled on the ground, and other times you've thrown them out underneath me, right? So had you just thrown it out at the top of your jump, you definitely would have caught me.